We are joined by one of our favorite people this morning. She's always a complete pleasure to have on our calls. Kristi, Kristi, forgive me, I do
You
not
can't pronounce my last
remember.
name. My mom can't pronounce my last name. It's Nowrouzi.
Okay. That actually wasn't the part I was struggling with, believe it or not. I don't remember where you work now.
No problem. Geneva Financial.
Geneva Financial, yes. I wrote it in the calendar invite and I couldn't remember right that second. So yes, Kristi is one of our preferred lenders. She's also a great friend to the team with Geneva Financial. Some of you have closed deals with her. Some of you are actively working on deals with her. And one of the great things about her, aside from her obvious personality, is the fact that she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to touching and remaining in contact with your sphere so that you are top of mind whenever anybody even so much as mentions the idea of buying or selling a home anywhere around your sphere. So, and that is exactly why we had her join us today. So she is going to share some ideas about how you can love on your sphere and make you their go-to when anybody mentions real estate. So Kristi, do you need or want screen sharing capabilities, or
Yes,
are you?
please.
Okay, perfect. We can do that. Actually, Ben, you can do that.
She's already paused.
Lovely.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, you guys. Everybody can see that okay? Wonderful. Good morning. Wow, I didn't realize my face was going to be like supersized. I am so thrilled to be with you here this morning. It is a great honor to be back and to see you. Thank you for joining with us this morning. My name is Kristi Nowrouzi. For those of you that I haven't had the pleasure to meet, I'd love to have a conversation with you. We can go out for coffee, lunch, happy hour, or just simply have a phone call or a Zoom call. I'd love to get to know you a little bit. I want to just share a little bit about me, and then we're going to dive right into loving on our sphere. You may not have heard of Geneva Financial. I certainly hadn't before I was introduced by the gentleman who actually taught me this business back in 2003. So he moved to that company and I said, why did you move there and what's special about them? And he told me all the reasons why. So just a real quick overview. We have in-house underwriting, and my turn times right now are about 24 hours. Last week on Thursday, I submitted a file for underwriting on Thursday morning. By Thursday evening, we had our loan approval. So it doesn't always happen like that. End of month crunch this week, it might be more like 48 hours, but it's an exceptional opportunity. If we need to get in really, really quick on a closing date, we can pay to rush that appraisal. We can have that loan underwritten very, very swiftly and get us to closing. I'm closing one today that I got on October 12th. It was a fallout from another lender. So if somebody that you're working with is not able to get it to the closing table, or they have tried to pre-approve somebody and have found that they couldn't get them pre-approved, allow me to give them a second opinion, because I've got a lot of programs outside of like the standard norm. A little bit about me. I live in Altamont Springs with my husband, Andrew. We've been married for 6 years. I've been a loan officer for 10 years, and I follow the core coaching. Why is that important? I've got, I don't know, 5 of these books and I don't know, probably $10,000 worth into coaching. So coaching literally changed my life. When I took on being coached, I almost 10x'd my income within 2 years. So if that's important to you, I'd love to be your coach and share with you all the knowledge that I've got, so we can set up some structured time together, start tackling those little things that might be stumbling in your way. But I'd love to help see you be super successful as part of this team. I had been a realtor in the past, so I know exactly how hard you work for your leads and for your relationships. I was also a short sale negotiator for about 4 years and helped almost 500 families avoid foreclosure. I even sold cars. So I've been in sales my whole life. I've got a couple dogs, Zeke and Cooper. More importantly, I have a podcast with over 60 episodes, and it's all about credit. So if you want to learn more about credit, so you know more than your clients, or if you've got somebody who's struggling with credit, send them to my podcast. It's called Credit Coaching by Kristi. I have a YouTube channel. I've actually got 2 YouTube channels. One is called Your Loan Superhero, and it's got, I don't know, 100 videos in there, all really intended for first-time home buyers. And soon to be published, I am finishing up my last realm here of second draft editing, and I will be a published author. And of course, it is a mortgage book. So let's dive in. Let's love on our clients. So the Inman report, I saw this a couple of years ago and it blew my mind, and I knew I had to do something different. And this is one of the reasons why Ben had asked me to teach this today. So one of the major reasons that homeowners do not rehire the real estate agent that they worked with in the past is simply because they can't remember their agent's name. Can you imagine? You showed them how many homes, 1 to 30 homes together. You created these memories, you had these experiences, you were celebrating the closing table, probably crying together and high-fiving, and they forgot who you are. So the reason being is this industry is very much transactional instead of relational. So let's change that. Why does that happen to most of us in the industry? I've got a couple reasons here, but if you've got a reason, I'd love for you to share it and teach the rest of us as well. I know that in sales, we tend to be very focused on what is in front of us. And if you are anything like me, if it is not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. So I work off of my calendar. And if I don't put that in as time block activities for my CRM, it doesn't happen. I don't know about you, there are lots of things to juggle throughout the day. You thought you had a 1 o'clock appointment, it's going to get shoved to 3 o'clock. Somebody's going to call you at noon, ask you to show a property at 6. Like, it just happens, right? Your day gets thrown off kilter all day long and every day. And then probably the biggest reason is we just don't plan a follow-up strategy. We don't know what to say, when to say it, and then how often. And so that's what we're going to tackle today. So I invite you to take pictures of the screen. I invite you to take some notes. I always have a notepad in front of me when I'm part of anything like this, because if somebody's going to take an hour out of their day, they have something to share. So let's do this. Last thing is, if you have a belief that your clients don't want to hear from you again, perhaps the transaction didn't go very well and you can learn from it and do something better next time. But I promise you, they want to hear from you again. I've had some really bumpy roads for some closings in 10 years of originating mortgages. And if you help them get to their desired result, they want to hear from you again, because you probably bent over backwards to make that happen. Okay, so why stay in touch? Again, we want to be relational. We are built as human beings to be in relationship, but this business kind of forces us to be quite transactional. And your clients can honestly be your biggest referral source. That was one of the biggest takeaways I learned from my very first year, 5 years ago, going into the core coaching. That's really where they focus and start with teaching you, is how to handle your incoming leads, and then how to stay in touch with your prior referral source, your past clients. They are a walking billboard for you. They could be the very best word of mouth advertising, but they don't know how to refer you, and they don't know exactly when to refer you. So if they heard of somebody saying, hey, I want to buy a home, obviously that just fell in their lap. But you can teach them what to listen for. And here's what's most important. If you're working with somebody who just graduated from college and launching their career, they're getting married, or they just got engaged, they're growing a family, they get pets. You guys, I have closed more loans for a young couple, or for people who bought a pet, bought a dog, than for having their second baby. They need to have a fenced-in yard, because it will change their life with that experience of having a dog. And Ben was over here agreeing, because we've done many families and got many families in homes. We got many families in homes because of pets. Unfortunately, divorce is a big reason why somebody might need to sell their current home and buy their next home, or they're moving up in their career. Now they're finally making some decent income and they can get approved to buy a home. So we have got to do a really good job of kind of planting that seed with our clients from the very start of what opportunities they're keeping their eyes open for. So let's plant the seed from the start. I am guilty of not doing a good job of this. So just coming out and telling you, but if you plant the seed from the start, this little acorn will grow into a really big, beautiful referral tree for you. So I love to start off my relationship. Like if somebody calls me and says, hey, I need to get pre-approved for a mortgage, I say, great. Who was it that referred you, so that I can thank them? And then when they tell me, hey, Ben had introduced me, I could say, now it's my turn to edify the crap out of Ben, let them know that they are in the most amazing hands. Nobody cares more. Nobody's going to negotiate harder. Nobody's going to work harder to get you to a successful purchase. And then I could say referrals are a vital part of our business. That's how Ben and I, and fill in the blank with your name when you refer. That's how we feed our families is referrals. And most of my clients refer me one person or family during this process and two more within the first year. You guys, that is powerful. It's neurological linguistics. I learned this from by referral only 5 years ago, and it works. You are telling them that most of your clients refer them somebody during this process. So the expectation is within the next 45 days, you're going to refer me to somebody just like you. And then you're saying two more within the first year. And if you're like a lot of people, we're competitive. We don't want to be outdone. And I don't want to fail you. You're going to work really hard for me. I want to work really hard for you. So when you're taking them to go and see those homes, or when you have a successful milestone, right? So you heard from your loan officer on your Tuesday update calls, and now you found out that the appraisal just came in and they actually have equity built into the purchase. You can call them and say, my goodness, I knew when we were negotiating, we were going to get you equity. I couldn't believe it. We have $12,000 out the gate. Are you so super excited? Yeah, I'm so happy. My gosh, you're the best. You're the best. Listen, the way I stay in business is through referrals. So would you keep your eyes open for somebody who's just like you, who also just got a puppy, who also is getting married, who also is, you know what I mean? Just wherever they are in their world. And then you can tell them that bottom part there. Referrals are how I stay in business. Will you do me a huge favor and keep your eyes open for opportunities? It would mean the world to me. And we all want to help, right? You see somebody who needs something in need, it's just our innate action that we want to help them. Okay, so how do we do this? This is a portion of the All About You form. So this is how I love to start off. It was easier when I was meeting face-to-face with my clients. I'm doing more online and over the phone these days just because of COVID. But if you are doing your buyer's consultation and you're finding out their needs list and their wants list, what's important to them about a home and their location and those kinds of things, I want you to consider using the All About You form. And Ben, I can get this to you to share with your team, and I'll put it in Word doc so you can change it. If you're not comfortable asking them what their favorite dessert is, change that to, something else. But what's really important, and by the way, SO is significant other. So however you feel comfortable, not everybody's married, not everybody's in a relationship. If you are meeting with somebody who you know is a single person, take out this whole second part with the spouse or significant other information and just make it all about them. That's the beauty of a Word doc. But if you were to say, hey, if you were to get a gift certificate, where would you prefer? What's important about this is if they become part of your VIP, we'll talk about that in just a second, you want to spoil the snot out of them and you want to give them what they want. So it's important to know where they shop or they spend their money and some of their favorite things. If somebody has a blank for sports team, you could probably assume they're not really into sports, but if they list 3 things for hobbies, take note of that because that's where they're spending their time and that's where their heart is. And I just know when I get to come alongside somebody for what's important to them and make it important to me, it helps deepen our relationship. So I'm going to show you the next page too. This is the bottom half of that Word doc I'll send to you. And then ask them if they're on social media. I put in Pinterest. I don't know what else you might be on. So if you're on TikTok or something else, you can certainly change that out. But you want to connect with them on every level of social media so you can be introduced to their friends this way. If they have kids, put that in there. If you know that they don't, just go ahead and remove that date. If they don't have any pets, if they're not, in a relationship where they would have an anniversary date, just go ahead and remove that out. But please leave that bottom part because we want them to read that your goal is to build strong, lifelong relationships with your clients who get to become friends. And in return, I truly need your help. So I rely on referrals and I'm striving to earn your trust for life. So when you fill this out or have them fill this out, you can now put in the important parts, what you feel are important, into your notes in the CRM and make sure you put those dates on the calendar. And this is where we start the follow-up plan. So this is where we're really going to dive in deep. And this is my favorite part of all of this. So I just had to lay a little bit of a foundation. So you start with that all about you form at initial consultation. Again, customize it as much as you can before you hand it over. So that way they don't feel like it's just something that you give to everybody. It is kind of cut to fit them. Enter in the birthdays, anniversaries, and all your notes that you can into the CRM and connect with them on social media. Reason being, you want to tag them when you take your picture at closing, right? And you want to tell them how amazing they were to work with and all of those things, because all of their friends and their connections on LinkedIn and all those other things are going to see that. At the walkthrough, take a picture in front of their home. You want to know why? Because you're going to gift them an ornament at Christmas that says, our first home, my first home, established 2021. So I would love to pose this question. Is there anybody else that's in this group right now that has put up ornaments from 10, 15, 20 years ago on their tree when they decorate? I cannot be the only one, right? So even if they're on their third or fourth home, they are reminded every single year if they put up a Christmas tree or decorations about that first home that you helped them get, or their next home. You could just say, established and then the year. Just have their name and the year. It doesn't necessarily have to say first home if it isn't their first home, but you want that reminder all the time. You could take a Sharpie on the back of it and write a special little note with your name, put your phone number below it. Even if they can't reach you by email, they will call you, but you want that reminder. Okay, so at closing, take a picture for social media so you can get in front of all of their friends. It's great to show your own sphere, your hustle and your closings, but really what we want to do is get in front of their friends. So we want to show how you guys got to this huge celebration, and we want their friends calling them saying, hey, congratulations. Hey, was it hard? What did you have to do? How did you know you were ready? Those kinds of things, right? So 2 weeks after closing, this is fun. I was at, it was probably 2 years ago, I was at a Orlando top producers thing, and Renee Funk was one of the people up on stage. And she was saying that she never, ever brings a closing gift to the closing table. And I was astonished, right? I was like, oh, how do you not bring a closing gift? But I waited for the second half. And she said, it's so transactional the day of closing. You hand them a gift or a gift card or whatever, they are going to remember about 10% of what happens on day of closing. And they're getting stuff from the title company and the loan officer, blah, 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 right? So don't get them a gift at closing. The reason being is you want to help deepen that relationship. So a couple things can happen here. You can purchase a custom gift. You don't necessarily want to drop $50 on a custom gift unless you know it got to closing. So on closing day, when you got those, those keys in their hand and the check in your hand, you can go ahead and order that custom gift. You guys, I'll give you an example of a custom gift that I have gotten 10x, 100x times referrals off of because of this. There was a gentleman who bought a house in Longwood, and it was for his boat. It's on a little waterway to Lake Brantley, and it was on Island Drive. So I got on Etsy and I got this shiplap little artwork, and it said, Brian's Island Paradise, and had the latitude and longitude at the bottom. And he put that up in his dining room. Every single time somebody comes to his home, they make a comment on that. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's so cool. Guess what he says? Yeah, my loan officer, Kristi, got this for me. So I come up in conversation over and over and over again. So think about something, create something that will have you being talked about. So 2 weeks after, you have this custom closing gift, you got it mailed to your home, not to their home, and you're going to call them and you're going to say, hey, Lee, how's everything going? I hope you're feeling settled in. I hope it's not, cardboard atmosphere any longer. Hey, I have a gift I'd like to drop by. Would you guys be okay if I stop by at 4 o'clock on Friday? Yeah, sure, man, we work from home. Come on by. You know what happens when you come by? It's not just a drop off of the gift. They're going to say, Lee, come inside. Take a look at what we've done. Remember that obnoxious yellow wall in the living room? Look at what we've done. Look at what we've done with the guest bedroom. They're going to invite you into their world, further deepening your relationship. About 1 month after closing, I want you to call them, and you're going to ask them what needs they have, because now they figured it out. Now they need a handyman. Now they need an AC repair. Now they decided they don't really love those appliances, and you're going to be able to introduce them to someplace that's going to give them a better cost than one of the big box stores. You're also going to say, hey, your first payment is due. If you talk with your loan officer to know where that's going, you can laugh about how much junk mail just came their way. You guys, they just got a recycling bin full of junk mail in the mail, and you can also just let them know you're thinking of them. If you are intending on making them a VIP, so let's quickly define what a VIP is. A VIP is a list of your very important people that you should work on having a list of 50. Your parents can be on that list. Your best friend can be on that list. Your number one referral sources. So if you get a lot of referrals from a divorce attorney, they're going to obviously be on your VIP list. Your favorite clients should be on your VIP list. I just had a closing on Friday. These guys are going to tell everybody about me for years to come. And I just know that. They have been, they will be. And you know those people. There are some people that no matter how far out of the park you hit it, they may never refer you, even if you ask them, and that's okay. But then there are other people who are singing your praises, and they need to be on your VIP. They need to be reminded all the time just how important they are to you. So you can always offer to host a housewarming party. Partner up with your loan officer on this. I love doing these. We'll do it on a Saturday or a Sunday. You can let them know. We can create little custom flyers or postcards, and then you and me can go around to the neighborhood a week or so before, and we can hand those out to all of the neighbors, and we can say, hey, Matthew just bought a home at 610 such and such street. We'd love for you to come over and meet your new neighbor. He's having an open house on Sunday from 1 to 3. Would you stop by and just introduce yourself? By the way, my name's Kristi, right? And so you can get the neighbors to come. You can also ask them to invite their friends. Get a tally of how many people you think you're going to have, and you and the loan officer split the cost. So that could be your gift to them. The reason we want to do this, you guys, is back to a couple of slides ago where I had mentioned most people are in the same realm as most people. Their friends are doing the same things as what they're doing. I've got a closing with some of my friends' kids on Friday, on the 29th, and they are buying their second home. They chose to not work with the same loan officer that they did 6 years ago and the same realtor that they worked 6 years ago. You want to know why? The realtor did not give them a closing gift. True story. So they just sold their house and they just bought a $365,000 home. Do the math on the commissions that realtor missed out on because they didn't feel important. So if you offer a housewarming party, you get in front of all of their friends, but you're not a salesperson. You're the person that helped make this happen. And so they say to you, you know what? I'm going to be ready to buy a house next year. Awesome. Let's exchange information. Hey, are you on social media? Can I take down your cell phone number? Can I get your email address? And I can just send you a checklist of what you can do to start being most prepared to buy a home in a year. And I've got all that stuff, guys. If you want anything like that, I'll put it together. I'll custom make it for you. Okay. So continuing the follow-up plan, 2 months after closing, see how we're coming off of it a little bit. We're not being so obnoxious and right in front of them. So we did 2 weeks, we did a month. Now we're doing 2 months. Call them or email them about the homestead exemption. So if you don't know, on the homestead exemption, they have to have updated their driver's license. And by this time, they should be in the county property appraiser's office and in the tax collector's office as far as being shown on ownership. If they sold the house, help them with porting their homestead exemption. If you want to talk through what that sounds like, I'm happy to have a conversation and walk you through it. If they're buying their first home, please tell them that they have to do this now, because if they forget, it's going to cost them thousands of dollars in unnecessary property taxes next year. And if they haven't let you schedule a housewarming party, remind them that you'd love to host this for them. I would say 1 out of 10 take me up on the conversation of a housewarming party. I would say 1 out of 20 actually let me do it. So don't think that you're going to be spending good money after bad on a housewarming party. It usually costs a couple $100 between food and some beers or wine. And you can, again, split that with the loan officer. And it's an amazing way to get endorsed and edified referrals. And if you really enjoyed working with that couple or that person, Hopefully their friends are just like them. All right, so 4 months after the closing, you're going to offer them something. You're going to invite them to something. You're going to offer to make an introduction. Hey, who can I introduce you to that will help you in your work, in your home, in your life? I've got some people that we just closed that just moved here from Ohio, Matt Anderson and I. So I've offered that to them already. On my follow-up calls, I'm going to say, hey guys, what do you need? Because when you move from out of state, you have to replace everything is new, right? New relationships for everything from doctors to your favorite go-to, pho place, whatever. So maybe you can invite them to something. Maybe you have an annual party in the park, or that Maitland is having their downtown on the first Friday. You're going to get a couple friends together, invite them along to join you for something like that. But the most important thing is they've heard from you basically 4 times now in the 4 months post-closing. And if you've had a closing or 2 yet, I invite you to answer to yourself, have you even reached out to them post-closing? A lot of people have not. So it made it really easy because now you know what to do. Now you just have to put it in your CRM so you get those reminders and it shows up on your calendar. So put on your calendar, now that it's 4 months, put on your calendar 2 to 3 touches a year. Their birthday. If they're married or together, their anniversary because they put that on the All About You form. Their home anniversary. So put their closing date on your CRM so you can call them and celebrate and say, my gosh, I can't believe it's been a year already. If they have kids, find out the kids' birthdays on that All About You form and send a little something. And then maybe holidays. Lee and Ben and I, at the beginning of this, were talking about Halloween. Not everybody loves Halloween. I know a couple people, they go all out and it's their favorite holiday of the year. And if you knew that, then maybe celebrate Halloween with them, not necessarily in person, but you could call them and say, man, I'm starting to put out my Halloween decorations. And it always makes me think of you because I remember you telling me just how big of a holiday this is for you and how you decorate your whole house. What does the neighborhood think about all of your decorations in your new home, right? It's just a talking point. And you're in front of them again. It's top of mind awareness. Every single time I talk to somebody I haven't talked to in a while, there's always something that comes out of that conversation that can convert. Okay, just a thought. If you are going to do a birthday shout out, I would encourage you to do it the day before the birthday because they are getting pounded with love on their birthday. So call them the day before and you can say, hey, Jasmine, I know tomorrow's your birthday, and I know that you're going to just be showered with so much love with all of these people in your life that love you. I just want you to know I'm thinking about you and would love to know what special plans you have on your birthday and just get them to talk, right? Just get them to talk about themselves. So now moving forward, you've got these 2 to 3 celebration or touches every year. So does everybody have a chance to take that down? Sweet. Okay. So here's some holiday ideas if you want to go a step further for your VIP. Again, your VIP are the people who love you the most, who are going to be referring you. A VIP is somebody I refer to that they're sitting at their favorite Italian restaurant and they hear the next table over talking about real estate and they go and interrupt the conversation to hand them your business card. That's a VIP. You've trained them well. So for Thanksgiving, you could offer up for your VIPs, for your referral spheres, you could offer up pies. I would encourage you to not go and drive them to people's homes. Have them come to you. So you can have a central location, whether it's at your office, a home, your favorite restaurant, if they allow you, and just say, hey, on Friday from 1 to 4, please drop by and pick up a pie for me. It's my treat. Maybe do that a few days before Thanksgiving, takes that off of their plate for having to go buy or make something. And, Perkins, local bakeries, all sorts of places you can get pies. Maybe offer 2 or 3 different kinds of pies, like a pecan, pineapple, my gosh, pumpkin, apple, and have them select their favorite pie and have that ready for them. This is a perfect opportunity to say, who do you know, or keep your eyes open when you're going to your holiday parties of somebody who might be experiencing a really big change this next year. Maybe they have big plans for, this incoming year with their career, with their family, with getting a pet, I'd love to be the one to help them on this next chapter in their journey. You could offer a photo shoot. Last year, I don't know if I'm going to do it again this year, probably. Last year, I had 5 hours booked with a professional photographer, and I offered to my VIP a photo shoot. So in the middle of Craft Azalea Garden in beautiful Winter Park, we set up this love seat. I had some Christmas decorations, and that first weekend in December, my VIPs that signed up had come out and we did a photo shoot. We edited those photos and sent it back to them in a couple of days, and they turned that into a canvas that they can print and put up on their wall. They turned it into their Christmas cards that they sent out to everybody. So many people that had showed up had said, my gosh, it's been years since my family had a professional photo shoot. We've never done this as a family with a professional photo shoot. And you guys, they're going to look at that in years to come and think about that and think about you. You could buy some fall decor, a pumpkin. You can bring by a pumpkin or invite people to a pumpkin patch with you, and you can pay for them to buy their favorite pumpkin. And maybe you guys have some hot cider together or something, right? There's a lot of places that are hosting these pumpkin patches, and you can just create an event and have people meet you there. It doesn't have to be complicated. I know every home goods store and all those places, there's this thankful theme. You could buy a little something there and drop it by. Christmas. One of my friends had her realtor drop by a poinsettia. She talked about it for like a week. I can't believe that Debbie dropped by this plant. I was like, an $8 plant, but awesome. It meant a lot to her. You could always make or buy some cookies, cakes. You can create a little stocking. I did that one year where I had some of my favorite, smell good things for the season and put together a little stocking, some lotions and I don't know, some candles, those kinds of things. That custom ornament that I talk about, you can send that to them for their Christmas gift. On New Year's, if it's a VIP and you know that they've got some big plans for this coming year, give them a goal setting planner. You guys, Ross has these journals, goal setting planners, and like these little, pads that you can get for less than $5. So it doesn't have to be something really expensive, and they look very nice. And you can bring it to them with a really nice note about how, you want to see them soar this next year or something along those lines. Valentine's Day. I heard somebody in the core coaching do this. This was crazy. So they live in a big city. I think it was Boston, and their reservations for the most popular restaurants book up like a year in advance. And so what they did was they put a couple of reservations at some of the finest restaurants in town and put it in the agent's name. So a week or two prior to Valentine's Day, agents calling his VIPs and just finding out, hey, you got any special plans coming up? You guys doing anything for Valentine's Day? Oh man, it's impossible to get into any of these restaurants. Well, what's one of your favorite restaurants? And get them to talk. And if they say, hey, the Boheme is my favorite, you say, I just happen to have reservations for 7:30 at that restaurant on Valentine's night or the night before Valentine's or whatever, right? I'd love to change that reservation to your name. Would that make it a special night for you? You're not paying for the dinner. You're just passing along a very special and well thought out reservation. So just planning ahead for some things and then offering it up to your VIPs can really go pretty far. A couple of other ideas just to keep your eyes open, since you're going to be teaching your clients and your VIP sphere to keep an eye open for those things that happen in our lives, right? Divorce, marriage, puppies, moving up in their career, those kinds of things. Other ideas that you can look for opportunities to get in front of people. If you see that somebody in your VIP is graduating, man, send them a graduation gift or at least a graduation card. It doesn't have to be expensive, but just that you're thinking of them. At summertime, two summers ago, I put together these little buckets. I went to the dollar store. I got a $1 bucket, like one of those sand filling up buckets. And I put, some sunblock and some chalk and just some things, little goggles for kids, little blow up things, those little, what's it called? The little flamingos you put a beer or soda in the pool, those little blow ups, put a couple of those in there. And I delivered those to some of my VIPs. So it could be, some fireworks or whatever for 4th of July, a summer survival kit for, those in your life, their parents, their kids are going to be home for the next 2 months, summer toys, those kinds of things. Back to school. Fall is my favorite time. I love the smells. I love the pumpkin. Even if you brought by a little coffee mug with some coffee flavored latte packages in there for your favorite people, just showing them that you love them. If you know that somebody is a diehard such and such fan and their team just won, or they're going to the Super Bowl, or they're going to any kind of bowl, call them and say, man, I saw your, your Ohio team is making it on to the next, competition. That's awesome. I was thinking about you and I saw them win. Love that you support them. How's everything going? All you are doing is getting a reason to call them or to connect with them. If they get a new pet, you go to Ross and you could spend $20 on a little package with a doggy bed, some chew toys, and go drop it by. It's another reason to stop by. You're seeing their pet, you're getting deeper into relationship. And I don't know about you, but I have had more than I'd like to admit of sympathy situations in the last couple of months. But just receiving a card in the mail means the world to somebody. Okay, so who wants to pate? I'll wrap up this last couple minutes here with some ideas that you can do. So maybe you can let people know, hey, if you refer me, you are on my VIP list, and I'd like to do some things throughout the year. So I have a thank you party to those who are in my VIP, and I'd love to invite you to a party in the park where you could go to, what is it called? Dinky Dock has a lot of space there where you can drop kayaks and stand up paddle boards, and they have this covered gazebo area. You could have bring some subs and some food and some music and just literally have a party in the park. A lot of these places around Maitland and Winter Park do movie in the park. Maybe you can buy a group of tickets and invite your favorite to join you and show up early and set up an area for you guys to be together, bring some drinks and some snack foods. You can always host an ice cream social, have people come to you. One thing I love going to these days is a cigar night or whiskey and cigar pairing. You could host that. Again, you don't have to pay for these, you guys. You can have your partners help you with the cost. And if you don't want to do something on a large scale, maybe something a little bit more intimate, I have hosted a pedicure party for some of my friends. So I called one of the places where I go to and I said, hey, on a Tuesday morning, on Friday morning, I know you guys open at 9. Can we show up at 8:30 and just reserve from 8:30 to 10? That it's a private party and you don't let any walk-ins come in. You don't have any reservations set. And they said yes. And they let me bring in mimosas and some pastries. And I didn't get a pedicure. I just strategically placed the people that were in my party with one another where they could hopefully build some new relationships. And I spoiled them and just sat there and refilled their mimosas. So spoil your friends that way. And it cost me maybe a couple $100. You could have a catered dinner party at your home. So let's say there was a very special VIP. They just bought a $800,000 home from you. Woo, woo. Guess what they hang out with? Other people that can afford an $800,000 home. So maybe you can cater a dinner party. So you're not doing the cooking, you're not doing the cleanup, you have somebody actually serving you, and ask them to invite 2 of their closest friend couples that you just like to get to know, or somebody that they think that might be buying or selling a home in the next year, and have them over for a dinner party. It's a little bit of a stretch, but I've seen it go far for some people that have used this strategy. You can always host a game night. You can do it out at a bar or at a restaurant. You can have it in your home. You can rent someplace where you just have some space at like a community center and host a game night for some friends. Another thing is, if it's important to you, it might be important to the people in your life. So if you share with them, like Ben has heard me talk for 4 years now about how much iDignity means to me. It's a local nonprofit. I sit on their board. I volunteered with them for 5 years. They're amazing in helping the most vulnerable in Central Florida. And what if I invited you to be part of a group volunteer event? We could go serve at a food pantry on a Friday morning. We could build a habitat house for humanity together. We could go do a beach cleanup. Like, people want to get behind something that has purpose and do it with people that they care about. So again, another way that you can show love to those people that are VIPs, or you're creating to be a VIP, so that you can get deeper into relationship. Because I tell you what, you spend a couple $100 on these different little events throughout the year on these people, it is going to go so much further than the couple $100s or thousands that you might spend on leads, and have a much better conversion rate. All right, so I am finally going to stop talking and ask if you've got questions, if you've got thoughts, if you've got ideas, let's share it and grow together.
Well,
I
I
just
think
wanna- oh.
go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I just think that was fantastic. All the information and the touch points and the ideas that you gave and shared. I'm definitely gonna like implement some of those. Like I have a closing that happened last month, but they weren't moving in until November 1st. So I was waiting until they actually moved in to actually, go and get their closing gifts. So that was just like a fantastic idea. I loved it.
Awesome. That's the way to do it. You've already gotten paid, so you know you're not wasting money on a closing gift for something that's custom. That's not going to happen, right? And then they'd love to see you again.
I love all your ideas. We've talked about them before, and I just want to put it out there, guys. If you have not met with Kristi before and you are struggling to learn how to tap into your sphere of influence, past and current customers, and you're just looking for some ideas, reach out to her and definitely schedule a one-to-one. She is full of ideas with her experience directly and also from her resources with the core. One big thing I'd like to add, after closing, those are some great opportunities, but even before closing, I've always felt that what happens with our customers is they get swept up in the process, and then after the inspection period, they don't really hear from us, the agent, until the day of closing, right? And sometimes that could be 2 or 3 weeks because we don't really see them out from the inspection till the final walkthrough. So use that as an opportunity to meet with your customer, and the week prior to closing, take them out for drinks as a pre-celebratory time to get together, and then that way you can tell them, hey, this is what's going to happen in this last week that's coming up, right? I ask for your patience if there are title issues or appraisal issues or whatever, just or getting keys or the final walkthrough, or if the seller doesn't move out, right? I ask for your patience, and I'm also buying you a drink. And also, do you know anyone else who's looking to buy or sell, right? Asking them in the middle of the transaction process is also critically important. So
I will say this, I started up 5 years ago. I've been a loan officer combined of 10 years, but it was in a different area of the state, and I had gotten out of loans into short sale negotiating for 4 years and then moved here. I knew nobody when I moved to Central Florida, literally nobody except for the girl that I moved with. She's a single mom, so she's not out meeting people. She was busy raising her kids and working. So I had to start literally from scratch in my personal life and in my professional life. And you guys, last year I closed 150 loans. So I will tell you, I learned a couple of lessons being a brand new realtor when I was doing that back in Sarasota, and being new to the lending industry and breaking into referral sources here. So I would love to schedule an hour together, and then I can just find out who your people are, what is important to you, where you spend your time, what you enjoy doing, who you'd love to work with. And then we can custom create something around that. So that way you can work with people you love to work with, because it's so much more fun working with people you love to work with. And then now we have this audience that you can build and love on and start getting your sphere built through who they know. But I'm throwing it out there. Take advantage of it. I'm telling you, could change your business.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You got it.
Sorry.
I don't know if you have already. Do you want to drop your contact information in the chat?
Yeah, I'll do that right now. Now, you guys, a couple other resources. Your Loan Superhero and Credit Kristi are both YouTube channels that have some content in there that you could share and learn from. And also the podcast is called Credit Coaching by Kristi. And I encourage you to spend some time there, and you'll learn a lot. And your clients are studying and learning a lot. So you don't want to necessarily know more, have them know more than you. So spend a little time there.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any other questions? No?
All right, well, thanks for having me here today.
Thanks for joining us. And her contact information is in the chat. So guys, save that, reach it out. Everyone on the team, she is in our CRM as well, so you can access it. And that's it for today. So for team members, I'll see you later at the Halloween party. And for everyone else, we'll see you on our huddle tomorrow.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.